It's your boy Chad Rob. I got a really good friend with me today.
Yes, absolutely.
Doug Hedrick. Man, this man was in my wedding when I got married, when I did the unthinkable. You know what I mean? This is #iAMWHOiAM, the podcast, episode 18, man.
18, I like it. I'm 18? Like, that's a big step.
That's like grown man.
That's great. You're becoming a man, right? That's why I'm here.
That's why you are here, sir. That's why you are here. Be sure to check us out everywhere you can find podcasts. The list is long. I spent the whole day putting it on all of it. The list is long. I'm not going to shout them all out. But if you see the podcast, listen to it. And if you listen to it, leave a thumbs up or 5 stars. Please, please, please. Especially on here on YouTube. Leave a comment. If you don't like it, leave a comment. Just let me know. Leave 5 stars, but leave a comment. Let me know what you hate.
But hey, you got to tell Chad. You got to build him up, tear him down, build him back up. That's the key.
Thank you.
He did good things. He did some bad things.
Yeah, bad things. Yeah. Tell me about the bad ones, but tell me about them good ones too. You know what I mean? But so introduce yourself, sir. Tell me who you are.
Well, I'm probably to most of these people nobody. I'm Doug Hedrick, man, 43, just turned 43.
Happy belated birthday.
Belated 21st, so it's not been that long. 43, local, born and raised here.
Where we at, man? They might not know.
Well, I was born Blount County Hospital, right here,
okay.
Blount Memorial.
Okay.
But born and raised here. I went to William Blount High School here locally. I know Chad's he's a former governor. Also, he was a tornado.
Yes, sir.
I did spend some time at Maryville. But yeah, just local. Just a local guy here with a good friend of mine.
Okay, cool.
A lot of respect for this guy right here.
Man, so. It's mutual. It's mutual coming from this way. A lot of times, man, when I'm out with my friends and stuff, man, I like to talk about you, man. Tell them, you remember we were playing flag football together, and I was just like, man, like this guy getting after it like it's the dang, like we in the combine getting ready for the draft. You know what I mean? And and I know you was a big, high school, stud, man. I was actually talking to Rod.
Yeah. Rod's good, man. Rod's good people.
Yeah,
he's good people, man.
He was telling me that guy's gonna kill us or himself out there. You know what I mean? Getting after it, man. So tell me a little bit about that experience, man. How it was to be like at the top of your game, in athletics.
Well, it was. I guess the Bruce Springsteen song comes to mind, right? Okay. He goes to the bar and he's talking glory. I mean, it's glory day talk, right? But
what is it? The older you get, the better you were.
Oh yeah, well exactly. And I'm sure if you had a video camera there, it wasn't as special. But
that's not what I heard.
I mean, look, it just went back to. Whatever you're doing, that's kind of how it's. Whatever you're going to do it the best of your ability. Yeah. Had some ability. But I look back too at the same time. I didn't follow through or finish some things, walked away for some things because I let some life's hurdles maybe affect you. Wow. Which you hear the same story. Somebody grew up didn't have anybody around him, had no support, and they reached the top of the so
right.
No excuse, but all that stuff was cool and had some ability, but maybe didn't maximize it. But you try to make up for it as you get older, man.
So that's kind of what I want to hear, man. Because I went through the same thing similarly, man. I had a natural ability. Mm-hmm. I had a lot of growth. Like, I remember being in 9th grade, being the height I am now, 150 pounds soaking wet. Mm-hmm. People could look at me and tell, like, man, he's going to just keep getting better. And I just didn't want it at that time. Now I hustle around here. I'm in the gym training, like I'm training for the combine. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to just go pro now, and I didn't have that urgency or that sense of urgency then.
Yeah.
And I guess my question is, like, if you could tell a kid that's listening to this, if a kid was listening to this today, what advice would you give them on, because if you love ball or if you love sport, you're going to always love it.
Yeah, it'll never leave you, right? Even if you walk away from it, or I think you leave that avenue in life, if you're not doing it, there's always that in you, especially if you had you had people that were behind you, pushing you, saw ability in you. And then when you look back, you see you didn't maybe maximize it. And I would think that's the biggest thing is you don't want to live with regret. Right? You don't want any regret over stuff you maybe you missed out on, because what ifs don't really count, right? I mean, they don't matter. I mean, maybe I could have done this or could have done that. you didn't do it. And that's ultimately in life, right? That's heavy.
Yeah,
and no one wants to swallow that pill, but you will. If you don't, if you got a dream, I would say, just like I tell my son, they let them question your talent, but they never question your effort. And effort always stands out.
Right.
And if you work hard, whatever it is, you're going to be successful. I mean, maybe you don't reach the pin, maybe you don't get that scholarship, or maybe you don't make it to the pros. I think we all were probably little kids thinking we're going to be the next,
man, you couldn't have
the
told
next
me.
star, right?
You couldn't have told me I wasn't going to be the
But
realest.
you don't realize the work that it takes, right? And you think you're working hard, and then when you get, you've realized you're not working as hard as you think. And do you really want it? Did you really want it enough?
Right.
Did you get the breaks? A lot of times, man, how many guys don't get a break? And it didn't happen. It wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
But
yeah, a lot of it too is like you said, the breaks, man. It's your cards you dealt, but a lot of it too is like you said too, man. It's like not only did you work hard enough, but did you say no to this? Mm-hmm. Did you be like, no, I'm gonna sit here at the house. Y'all go have a good time. Holler at me tomorrow. Right. I mean, a lot of it has to do with how you use your time, you know, because you can get distracted really easy, especially being a young, what they call him, a young transformer,
young buck,
right?
We're young bucks out there.
Yeah.
No guy, that. I don't know. It's. I think it's one of those things you don't realize sometimes till you get older, and it probably wasn't going to happen for you anyways, right?
Yeah,
maybe you don't know. But,
you don't know.
You don't know, but I think you've just got to focus. You got to focus on working hard. I think that's the key, man. Is working hard pays off, and staying. I think it's failure, right? I think we were talking about this earlier. It's failure.
Yeah.
You're going to fail, right? And so many times people, things look like they're not going right, and it's going to be difficult, and that's when people quit. When you just take one extra step, you take one more step, or maybe you push through, you go to the gym one extra time, or you do this one more, or you keep driving, and it happens for you. And instead you quit. You quit one day too early. And man, I can look back at my life and know that there's some instances where, man, if I'd have just stuck that out, if I'd have just stayed with it, who knows what had happened. Now, again, maybe nothing, but you'll never know. Yeah. And at least if you tried and you failed, and you finally got up on the stage after all those years of not wanting to, and you finally did it, you know at that point. And hey, guess what? My dad, I remember my old man always telling me, this was a guy, he boxed Golden Glove, Southeastern heavyweight champion, was a phenomenal athlete. Had so much potential, but was a guy that ended up dead at my age. I'm 43. He died at the age of 43 because he went down the wrong path.
Right.
So this was a big year for me, turning 43. But again, going back to just that, there's always somebody bigger. Yeah. There'll always be somebody faster, smarter. You name it. Yeah. But maybe you have some skill. Are you willing to work hard enough to really maximize it? Maybe that person that is faster, bigger, stronger, they don't work. How many 5 stars, right? How many 4s, whatever you want to. However you want to put it.
Usually the most successful pros are 3s and 4s.
A lot of times, right?
A lot of times.
And why?
Of course,
why? And typically, and right, I think even if
you got your Randy Mosses and you got your, Javon Curses and those types, but for the most
that's
part,
the guy that had the ability, but also had the work ethic, right? And that's the guys that dominate.
Right.
You can't go against a guy like that, but
right. And a lot of that too isn't even work ethic; it's just showing up.
Yeah. Just being there, right?
Sometimes that means a lot. I didn't show up.
Being there, right? Just being there. It's work, right?
Yeah.
Just be there every day. And do what you're supposed to do. Whatever it is you're doing, do it the best you can, and guess what? Good things will happen. Yeah. You'll never go hungry. You won't fail. You're not going to lose your job. But it's kind of my philosophy. That's what I would tell going back to your question.
Yeah.
What would I tell a young kid? Just let them question your talent, but they're not going to question your effort. Wow. And it stands out. It stands out. Yeah. It will always stand out.
So kind of to piggyback off what you said, I know you said, you lost your dad, kind of early, and, me, I couldn't even point my dad out in the lineup. Like if I was walking down the street and he passed by me, I wouldn't even know, know. So I know there's a lot of kids out there, that, or not even kids, maybe men our age, just still dealing with those demons. Our age, they didn't have all this, you're you have this disorder. Let's get you some help. You know what I mean? It was just deal with it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, it's old school, right? It's kind of like, Coach, you know, you're 20 yards apart and you come flying in and you're butting heads and you're hurt. Get up and rub some dirt on it. Right. Suck it up. Suck it up, son. Suck it up.
Go. You know? And we didn't have, it wasn't no remorse for us coming up. Like, what, I mean, how are you able to perform at high levels in high school? And I see you as a man today, and I'm like, you know, I'm impressed with you. You know, you take care of your family. You ever since I've known you, you've always worked. You know, you seem to be a genuine, just a great man. So, and when watching your father maybe not be the best, how did you overcome and not fall into the same trap? I guess.
Yeah, I would say it had a lot to do with, so you've got your father, and so just to say, kind of speak to what you said, you couldn't point out your dad in a lineup, right?
I wouldn't. I might have saw him tonight. You see what I'm saying?
You don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, so for me, I could sit here and I could, woe is me, but I had him for 18 years. You never had your dad, right?
Yeah.
So I could say the same to you, like, man, you never had well, you didn't have it, but Grady, your grandfather, right?
Yeah.
So I had a grandfather. John O, World War II vet, still alive at 95. I had my uncle and numerous other people. A strong mother.
Yeah,
you had a strong mother, right?
Strong, yeah.
So you have all these examples, and I think sometimes we get hung up on, I didn't have this, I didn't have that. Well, wait a second, what you didn't have, look around, man. Look at what you got. And so many times I think we fall into that trap of what I didn't have and what you got, man.
Wow.
None of us, I never went to bed hungry, never wanted for anything. So I don't have an excuse, right? There really is no excuse. And I think that's the hardest pill to swallow as we get older, man, is you look back and you want to find an excuse. We grab at these straws, but you're still drowning. There's no excuse.
Wow.
It happened. Look, the best thing to do is you look back on it. I grew from it. I learned from it. So, number one, I didn't want to be like my father. I saw what violence led to. I saw what drug abuse led to. Now, don't get me wrong. When I lost my dad at 18, it was just a spiral. I just spiraled out of control. Got a good friend here with me, Clayton Rolls, in the background here. He was a big part of my life. You know, here he is still here. I'm 43. We don't see each other like we want. But anyways, met him. I went to Denver, Colorado at like 2021, spent 3 years and hadn't never dealt with my father because it was alcohol and drugs. I never dealt with it. So I go out there, get away from everything here, and grew a lot, met a lot of great people, ended up coming back, and I found myself. I think the key is finding yourself. Sometimes if you lose yourself, you have to lose yourself sometimes to find it again. And I found myself again, and it was I'm an athlete. I want to be fit. So I got back here. I got back into taking care of myself, and I think that's when I started back on the path of just reclaiming who I am. Yeah. And I don't know, just realizing there's no excuses, and again, not wanting to be like you. You don't want to be.
Don't want to be them.
Your kids will know who you are.
They will always know. If
know.
I have to sacrifice my happiness so they can be happy, it would be sacrifice. Like, absolutely. I don't care what they need or want. They gonna get it. Whether I can do it, however I need to do it, it doesn't matter. So it's funny not funny, but it's ironic to hear you say that. You know, you didn't want to be like your father, because I refuse to be like. They will always know me. You know what I mean? Whether I'm here or not. Yeah. You know, they'd be like, I know my.
Well, and it's powerful. And I think, too, I've always told myself, and even I've told it to my kids, I looked at them in the eye and said, you will not have me as an excuse. I won't be an excuse for you. You can reach and try to find other excuses. But again, I'm going to give you instead of giving you everything I didn't have, I'm going to give you the lessons I didn't get. Right. So I got a lot of good lessons from my dad, the work ethic, and you got, just work. That was the key. And that's always translated. That's always translated. And I think that generation was like my grandfather, again, 95, World War II vet. And if you met him today, he'd salute you and say, John O. Patton, World War II vet. But it was work. He I think third grade as far as he went in school. Oh, wow. But ended up, my granddad did the same thing. Yeah, because he had made it that far. No, had to quit to work on the farm. His dad was a sharecropper. His father was a sharecropper. So again, didn't even have education, but was a success in life. Yeah, worked hard, made good money, and so again, there's no excuse. I guess that's the That's the whole crux of this thing is there's no excuse for any of us, especially if we're born here in this country. And there's many other countries. There's other good countries, right? But we know that when you're born and there's nothing really, no obstacles in your way.
Right.
You can achieve something.
Yes.
And I think, again, too, is not, I can't look at you and I can't look at this guy and that guy and where they're at. I'm 43, he's 25, and and everybody's path is different and everybody's going to get there in their own time. So sometimes we can mess ourselves up thinking we haven't achieved something and we get down on it and quit. I haven't achieved it yet, so I quit. So go ahead and tell me how quitting works out for me.
Yeah, quitting ain't going to get you nowhere, man. I try to tell my daughters that all the time. Like, I remember being, I'll give you an example. I remember Pee Wee football. Mm-hmm. I wanted to be the quarterback. Man, I wanted to be the quarterback. So I worked my tail off, man. Guess what I got? I wanted to wear number 7. I wanted to be the quarterback because the quarterbacks I knew before me wore. I went from the season prior wearing number 63 on the line at skinny. I've always been skinny, right? So the next season I got number 7. But guess what I did when I took the starting position?
What'd you do?
I quit.
Tell me.
I quit. Yeah. Never went to another practice. Never went to another game until a friend of mine that lived on my street, he came to the house and was like, "Hey man, we in the championship game."
Oh, that hurt.
I said, well, I was like,
with that age, you don't realize.
I didn't realize. So I'm like, shoot, yeah, I'll be at the game. Mm-hmm. I'll be at the championship game. Mm-hmm. So I'm there in my jersey. My name's not even written in the program. I had to write my own name in the program. Mm. I quit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it's going that you're taking it back to what, 8, 9 years old?
Yeah, 8, 9, 6, 7.
Yeah, so you analyze your life, you look back, and you see times in your that you quit on something.
Yeah, and I've done that several other times since then.
Hey, man, I have too. So don't beat yourself up.
Oh no, not
I know
me.
I know you're not.
Yeah. Just an example.
But just an example. Just like we do that, and it's regret. I'm just trying to minimize regret. The rest of my life, minimize regret. I'll have it. Trust me, I know I will.
Yeah,
and we all will. Minimize regret.
Yeah.
This is a big thing.
Let me restart the camera real quick. So, kind of to lighten things up a little bit, sir.
Yeah.
So everybody that comes on the podcast, I need to know this.
Yes.
Top 5 rappers of all time. And I know rap may not even be your favorite genre, but I need to know your top 5 rappers of all time.
Well, some of these may be. I don't know that I can name each individual, but I would say my top, number
your
one.
Top.
My top.
Your top. Not nobody else's top. Not what you read about online.
No. None of that.
Your top 5. What's got you through? When you've been dealing with some stuff, what you put in the deck. I don't care if it's one verse, one song. Your top 5.
Okay. Well, don't hate me. They may not all necessarily be 100% full-blown rap.
It's all love over here.
But I would say number one.
They got to be in order.
Kid and Play.
Is the top.
This is for me. This is because going back to
the top of all time.
Top of all time.
Okay, that's a new one. Kid and Play. I can dig it though because I watch Class Act, House Party,
all of them.
The dance. Where they hit the,
and at your wedding, I can tear it up on the dance floor, and that's one of my favorites.
Hey, Kid and Play. Hey, respect though, because I remember growing a box even.
Yeah,
I remember Play taught me to chase several ladies. Yeah, he taught me how to chase several ladies. Don't just get one, chase a few. So number one, Kid.
All right, so number one is the first one that comes to my mind.
Yeah.
I would say another one would have to be
not another one. Number 2.
Oh God, you're really putting it on me.
Yeah.
I would say I'm not into rap that. But
I know.
I'm a huge James Brown fan, and he's the father of soul.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
I know he's not a rapper.
Yeah. I can get.
Love
James Brown. Yeah. We'll give you a pass on that one.
Love James Brown.
Okay.
DMX.
Ooh, stop.
Everybody knows DMX.
Yeah.
I would say, for me, Biggie was another one. He was big. Obviously, when I was coming out of high school in that time.
Yeah.
And I guess for number 5, wow. I don't know. drawing a blank here, Chad.
Tough.
I'm tough. Throw me number 5.
What about like
who's your top 5? Better yet, Chad, because I know you rapping's that's in your heart, and you've done it in the past. So.
Yeah. What about Pop?
Big Poppy?
No, Tupac.
Well, Tupac, yeah.
He'd be
well, right. You would say everybody claimed he was a genius.
Bone Thugs and Harmony.
I did like Bone Thugs. First of the month. Everybody knows first of the month.
Yeah. I mean, the other day, and what's crazy about your top 5 as far as the genre of music that you love, it seems to always change, because my last top 5 was Pop. I can't remember who number 2 was. Oh, Master P.
Okay.
Jeezy. Who was 4? Can't remember who 4 was. Can't remember who 5 was. But today I'm thinking 4 would be Bone Thugs and Harmony, because I left them out last time. Mm-hmm. And 5 would have to be like 8 Ball, just the South period, like Player Fly, like that whole Memphis movement, like everybody that was from Memphis. Because I remember riding around just wasting my life away
listening to that music,
listening to them. You know what I mean? So it could be all of Memphis. Number 5, Twister was number 4. But,
Busy Bone, right? Was Busy the one that had? He's the one that had the big hair. I remember him from the videos.
Yeah. But I left them out last time. But they're definitely right there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
well, they had a unique. I think their delivery was unique. Yeah, and their sound, they were good. They were good.
Yeah. So like on this podcast, man, I had a conversation with a friend of mine, and he's always talking about, not him, but like we were talking about like how the internet, like you see a lot of cats on the internet that are black, and they're talking about like black people. And I would always say, anytime I've ever had any type of success or growth in a corporate situation, it's been a white man that's helped me. Mm-hmm. And I didn't mention you directly, but you gave me my first, we don't mention the name of these corporations on the podcast, just so you know, just to let you know.
No, they are trademarked, FYI. So.
That, and they ain't showing me no love on. Forget them. You hear
and
me?
I left them too. So.
Yeah. But you were the first person to give me a chance at progression when I've been working. I've worked jobs my whole life, man, and nobody has ever given me the chance for advancement ever. But you made it happen for me.
Yeah. I pushed for you.
I know it was you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it it meant so much to me, man. Like, it meant more than you will ever know. I can't even explain it right now, how much that meant to me.
I can see.
Yeah. And so I guess my question is, it has nothing to do with that, my question, by the way.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I watched you, because I've watched you a lot, man. Like I said, I respect you as a man. And I watched you kind of get to a certain point, and I saw you get kind of the same kind of, I'm going to call it feedback that I was getting. Like, they kind of get you to this wall, and they're like, nope, no entry. Right. And then I saw you say, well, you guess what? I'll just make my own door.
Right.
And I'll just jump off this boat, man. I'll just swim till I find my way. So basically, you cut the cord. You per se. You
walked away from.
You went to business for yourself, man. And I would really like you to talk to my audience, man, and just tell them, hey, man, like, tell them about the courage it took, and kind of, because that's a lot of times a lot of people don't want to jump because they're
scared. You think, yeah. Well, I think especially if you're in the quote corporate world and everybody that you talk to around you, family, everybody's in your ear going to tell you, like, if you're talking or thinking of walking away from that, it's like, why would you leave this XYZ company that you've got a great future and it's secure and you don't want to do this? And well, I think a lot of it has to do with who I've always wanted. I think I always wanted to be in business for myself, or felt like I could.
Yeah.
And then also I knew that too, there was just, you come to realize when you're in that world that there's probably only a certain level you're going to reach, unless you've got to know. I think in life, right, we realize it's who you know, right? It isn't necessarily, you don't have to be the most skilled or the best at your position, but do you know the right person? Obviously, do you have the requirements they do, whether this degree, that degree. But really, if you're not in with the right people, and we were talking about earlier, right? Yeah. You knew before, like you knew you were getting the job. I knew a couple different times, like come interview, but hey, you got the job.
Yeah.
Well, so think about it. So how many 20, 30 people came and interviewed, and I already had the job, so I still had to interview. Quote, you still got to come interview. So, it's disheartening because I think you see that there is a certain, the glass ceiling. I always talk about the glass ceiling. You can see all this above you, but you're only going to get so high.
Right.
And maybe that's a bad attitude to see because, right, you're going to say that, tell your kids, we're going to tell our kids that, right, you're only going to make it so far, honey, because of this or that, But it doesn't matter. But
kind of the truth.
There's some truth to right. I think that with there's truth to every stereotype, right?
Yeah.
There's some truth. Doesn't mean it's always right, but there's always some truth. But I think there's a lot of truth in that in the corporate world. There's only sometimes you got to know the right people. So again, it was my passion, always work, and I just had to do it.
Yeah.
And I knew if I didn't, I didn't want to live again. Going back to regret, I didn't want to regret it, and I knew if I didn't. And I felt like it was the right time. I saw there was an opportunity over here, so try it. I mean, worst case, I figured if I failed, I knew if I failed, okay, I failed. And I felt like I could always go back. I always felt like I could always go back through that door if I needed to or find a way back.
Right.
So instead of regret, I chose to go that route. And,
wow.
It's not all roses. It was a lot of learning. I made a lot of mistakes, a lot of highs, went back to some lows, and then back up, climbing back to some steady ground. So, I'm 5.5, almost 6 years in on that venture.
That long.
Yeah, but with your numbers guy, right? I mean, that most businesses don't work. They really don't. That there's a lot of failure.
Right.
And again, it goes back. Are you willing to take a chance and fail? Yeah. And if I do, I fail. Right. It may hurt. It's going to hurt your pride. It may take you a while to dig out of whatever hole you end up in. I every time I send a payment to our lovely government, it kills me. But you got to do it. Just to help you out. You will pay them. You will pay them. We
all paying taxes over here. Please believe it. Don't look for it.
I just think I was at a point I knew in my life if I didn't do something, if I didn't try it, I'd regret it. And I didn't, and I already had enough regret. You'll build up a bank of regret. Believe me, something you carry it around, you let it go, but you look back and can see it. So I just didn't want any more of it.
Right. Well, that's interesting that you saw that 6-7 years ago, and I'm 6 or 7 years behind you on feeling that same urgency. And it's just like you said earlier, man, it's crazy because people don't worry about somebody else's time. It's on your time. When it's you really are focused on something, then it will show itself. Like you'll see, you will put up or shut up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and again, if it doesn't, love what you're doing here, I think is I love seeing it, man.
Hey, I appreciate it, man.
It's just again, you got to do it, and then and look, if this is all you do is get to hang out with people and you like, and
because it's a good excuse to be to just politic with you, man, just to hang out with you. Great excuse. Great excuse.
Yeah.
So I was looking on the internet the other day, right?
What do we got?
Yeah. So. Basically, this woman claims they fired her after she donates a kidney to her boss.
Oh, I think I've heard this story.
You have heard?
I don't know details, but I believe I hear. Yeah, no, I do remember. She saved his life, and then he fired her. Like she came to him and offered, he took it, and then.
Yeah, so it's crazy to me, man. I haven't watched the video myself, so let's see.
Then turned around and fired her.
The crazy thing is that actually,
she putting on though.
I actually feel ashamed.
Debbie Stevens, a
divorced
mother of two, says she feels
and that's what
there's a lot of put on,
and that's
heavy though. That I would be hurt too. If I gave you money, I'd be hurt, man. I'd be real hurt. You owe me a little more than firing me. You can demote me, but don't.
In September of 2010, she said she offered to
it was 2010
Jackie
too.
Brusha, one of the company's higher-ranking employees who was sick and needed a new kidney to survive.
Wow.
It's just part of who I am. If I worked with you and I found out that you needed one, I would offer you.
Turns
God, I'd
out
have to
Stevens
like you,
was not
though.
a match.
My
but the way
boss?
the National Kidney
My friend,
Registry
maybe. My
is that
boss?
Stevens decided to donate
That must be a
the kidney
heck of a
to somebody
promotion
else
you're
on
after.
Bruce's
That's all I
behalf.
know.
The boss would move up on the list.
Wow.
That's heavy.
Stevens did it,
I
and
don't
both
know.
women had their surgery.
So now I'm kind of, I don't know, man. That's it's interesting to me that what did she dangle to get a kidney?
Right. I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, she didn't just offer, let's just be real. We know she didn't just offer that to her. You're obviously expecting maybe boss was going to get a promotion if she lived and didn't, and well, then you're out. I don't know.
Wow.
You'll never know the true story. We don't know all the truths here. Who knows?
Oh no. So we're going into the new year.
Yes.
And I know New Year's resolutions is huge for everyone.
Not a big fan, just personally, but I know they're huge. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Not to sidetrack.
That's my question. I mean, going into the new year, I know you seem to be a man like myself. Like, I'm gonna handle what I need to handle in the new year. But for those 43-year-old men that's looking at you like, man, like he's in great shit. Like like he's taking care of business. Because that's all I've really been hearing from people is, man, I'm about to start eating right on the first. I'm about to start doing this on the first. And it's always about...
No, you're not.
Yeah, no. Well, you're going to start on the first.
But you stop on the second.
Yeah. What's funny, too, is, man, in the gym, it's crazy, man, because, normally people start to warm up. They come in a couple weeks before, kind of get used to it, and you get excited because you're getting this whole new crowd. Like, ooh, so many new people, But now, like, it ain't... It's like people's waiting to the first for real.
Oh yeah, good luck going to and really the first, but in January I don't go much because just wait till the end of the month and they'll be because it's insane, it's crazy. Yeah, I mean good for people for trying, but it's that lifestyle is
and
not
that's
easy.
what I'm going to ask you. So to maintain, that facade. Speak to me a little bit about that lifestyle. Is it because people? This is what I think what happens to people is, and I think I said this on last podcast. Usually, what happens is you so gung ho. Let's do it. Let's take over Rome. Right. But then you run out of bullets, or a couple people get shot. You like, I don't know if I really want to take over Rome.
Right.
What I mean? So on the gym, you like, man, you gung ho. You ate your chicken and rice the first, the second, the third. You killing it. Chicken and rice. The fourth. Now it's the fifth. Or Saturday or something. I don't know.
Every day though, it tastes so bad. Every day it's not real good, right?
The fifth come, and this is what happens. You out drinking. You already drink. You didn't encourage yourself through the drinking. Nah, I can drink. That's okay. The internet said I could drink, but then you eat the crystals, right? So now you're telling yourself, I'm a failure. I'm a failure. I'm just going to eat Zaxby's tomorrow. Oh, well, I'm a failure. Order a pizza.
And just forget it, right? What's the point?
So what advice would you give someone trying to make that transition to the lifestyle? Because I think that's the hardest thing for people. I think people are so hard on themselves.
I think the point is they're too hard. Here's the key to it is just do something. It isn't, you don't need to set up a strict dieting plan. You don't need to just start, okay? And wherever you're at in life, I think that's why I feel like whatever, fitness and taking care of yourself so translates into your life and just trickles down into everything you do. But it's just starting and it's just being consistent with it. I mean, literally just if you went and walked for 30 minutes on a treadmill and left, you did something, man, that probably half the population doesn't do, or more. It's probably way higher than that. I'm just throwing a number out.
Yeah.
But I think it's just being consistent. And again, don't look at the guy in the gym that's been doing it. You've been in there for 10 years. Of course you don't look like him. Of course you don't lift as heavy as him. And the lifting, don't worry about how much weight you're lifting. Just
weight
do
is
something.
A rumor, man. I still don't go too much heavy. 3 places as heavy as I go, and that's only if the girl has on like pink leggings.
Yeah,
you know, what I mean?
real nice tight. Yeah, no, not even trying to show out. And I think
but I'm just saying.
You learned that.
Yeah.
That's
but I
something
mean, I just want them to know I still got it in case of emergency.
Well, sure.
But
sure,
but no, not for the beginners.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're fine. No, not off track at all. No, I think the key is again just being consistent and just get started.
Right.
Find whatever it is you like to do. If you like to run, great. If you like to lift, well then there's so many videos on YouTube, whatever you name it, that you can watch to get a routine and just be consistent with it. And hey, if you don't get in, you wanted 4 days, you got in 3, great. If you wanted 3, you got in 2, great. But just stay consistent with it. And I think too the amount of the work, I think what's your transformation, dude? What are you trying to do? People don't realize how hard you got to work.
Right.
Really, I mean, like to really put on muscle and mass.
To look like them pictures you looking at.
To look like the magazines. Yeah, listen, number one, that's all they do. And they're taking the best supplements.
Oh, yeah.
They're taking the best drugs. There's more than just supplements. Just straight call them drugs. I mean, in a lot of cases. So in the average person, me and you were raising family and working. You're not going to look like that.
No, you can't.
But look your best.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and again, what's your goal? You got to know your goals. Have a goal, and just take your time. It doesn't have to happen. And again, it will take time.
Lots of time.
More time. And I will say this. If you're young, is the key is to start young.
Yeah, that's the key. That's the key.
Build it. It's muscle memory. I think that's the whole thing about getting strong. Muscle memory. So I've done it so long. I know I could quit and come back a year later, and it wouldn't take me a month, and I'd be back where I'd want to be. Mm-hmm. But now, if you've never really been active and never really been fit, it's the work. I mean, if you've ever watched some of the shows that are out there, Biggest Loser, I think of just the work they have to put in, 2 and 3 times a day to lose 100 pounds, 100 pounds plus. You can get there. It's just a lot of time, a lot of hard work, and just be consistent with it.
Yeah, I think you nailed it right there, because a lot of people look at your finished product, but don't see this 14-year-old kid in the floor doing 1,000 sit-ups, 500 push-ups, lifting a weight anytime he's seen one, just would get under it and try to lift it. You know, a lot of people just see this end result.
Well, and too, I think the one of the things people see too is talent. Like, well, they've just got their talent. I mean, Chad's just talent. He's gifted. Yeah. But people don't realize that they don't see, like you said, they don't see all that sweat and that work. When everybody else was out riding around, you were at home or at practice or wherever doing what you're supposed to do. That's what we all have talent. There's not a single human being alive that if there's something you want to do, you can't, if you're willing to work. And now look, sometimes, just be honest, I'm not willing to work that hard to be great.
There's
just a lot of things, right? I mean, but now some people, right? Singing. You can either sing or you can't sing. You can take some lessons.
Yeah, you take some lessons.
I can get better.
Yeah, I can make a record probably.
But it's
going to take a lot of work.
A lot of work. And
I probably ain't going to go Whitney
Houston.
Okay.
And that's okay. Yeah. Just be you. Be the best you.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's the key. Be the best you. And don't sweat what everybody else is doing, and be the best you, and keep working. Keep working. There's no other. I don't know any other way to work. Just work. Because if you work, it'll work out.
Yeah. Oh,
no pun intended. It'll just work out.
Yeah. That's what's up. That's what's up. Well, I won't hold you all night. Tell them, man. Tell the people where they can find you, man. If they need any work, or if you need, just tell them where they can find you at.
Yeah, I'm here locally in Knoxville, obviously. You can reach me jdhedrick30@yahoo.com or aasnox1@gmail.com. You can email both. If you have really general construction is what I do. It can help you out, can direct you. If it's not something I can do, I can point you in the right direction. I've got great HVAC guys, electrical guys that, again, I don't do all that, but if you just need some, who can I trust? I know people that you can trust if it's not something I can do. And I think that's the key is in line, right? We want people we can trust. Right. And
I vouch for this man. So if he say he can do it, he'll do it. And if he can't get it done, he gonna get the best person that can do it for you. And I put the stamp on that for sure.
Thanks,
for
Chad.
sure.
And again, and I'm one of the, if I can't do it, I'm just going to tell you, I'm okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
That's not my thing.
That's probably
that's
first,
another good life lesson is just know what you can and can't do.
Yeah, it's okay to say,
it's okay.
I don't know. Let me find out.
That's it. I mean, right. Nobody knows everything.
It's crazy.
And then nowadays, right, if you don't know, we were
talking about that earlier.
Like,
why are we even sitting here thinking about it?
Oh, there's the answer. We're all genius. We're all a genius.
Yeah, all day, every day. You better Google something and do it. Yeah. But so on that note, this is episode 18.
Good for you, Chad.
Hey man, I appreciate that because they thought I was gonna quit at like 12. And then they thought I was going to quit at like 4. And then they thought I was going to quit at 10. Mm-hmm. I know they thought I was going to quit at 15. They was like, it's over, man. He done. You know what I'm saying? But we made it to 18. And I got a great, I call him a friend, a great friend. If I was messed up somewhere, I'd call him like, man, come get me out of this. But
hey, and look, too. The shade weed.
It's crazy. Colors.
Different colors. It's amazing. It's amazing. It doesn't matter.
It's crazy how that works, man.
It doesn't matter.
It's crazy how that works.
Good people are good people.
Good people are good people.
And that's what and I know nobody ever wants to go, but it's just there's so much of this garbage out there, and there's so much divide in this.
Right.
Well, perceived divide. Let's keep it real. Perceived, man. When you really get down to it, man. I mean, the politics is a show, news is a show. It's all perceived, man.
It's all reality TV.
It is, man. And so as long as I think we all know that, and real people know the truth.
Yeah.
And again, none of this matters.
Man, I've been black my whole life. He been white his whole life,
and it ain't gonna change.
And we both love a lot of the same things, like a lot. It's like a really high percentage. Yeah. So don't get bamboozled. Love your neighbor, enjoy your life.
Yes,
and drink Stella. We're trying to get sponsored by Stella, man. That's why we drink.
Well, it's free for that. Okay, so I was keeping it hidden.
We're trying to get sponsored by Stella. So. Yeah, we love them. We drink them. We body build and drink them. We don't ever get up with a hangover. We always go to work the next day. It's a great drink. Holla at us. But on that note, #iAMWHOiAM. Everywhere you can find a podcast. Check us out. And as always, thank you for watching the video. Yeah. It's your boy Chad Rob. Don't forget, comment, subscribe. Press that notification bell so you can see what's coming next. And as always, I'll be back. Yeah.